Biscuits and tea.
Something I've always been curious with is how does the military, especially like in the field, deal with more minor injuries? Like if you pull a hamstring or like
No, that
muscle or
doesn't
ligament, do
that
you
doesn't
just
exist. No, that
yeah,
doesn't
you
exist.
just
Yeah, no,
fuck it and just
you don't.
go.
You,
No,
you,
no
you,
little.
I can't speak on behalf of all the military because I was such in a smaller community, and fortunately for us, we have a lot of guys who are, with the whole fight or flight thing, they just tend to fight and they fight through it and they don't complain or anything. So that's all that I've seen, but it's the most I'll see out in the field and is take some Motrin. That's all. That's pretty much what they have on, and then you go on. But a lot of guys don't even complain about anything.
Yeah.
Nothing that minor.
Yeah. Would you even notice if you pulled your hamstring if you were like in a mission, like your adrenaline probably is pumping so high that you probably wouldn't even notice it until later on?
Probably not in the moment, but I mean, it's not. You got to think you can't stay that aroused for so many hours, right? So once you start cooling down, that's when it really hits you really hard. So yeah, I mean, you'll notice it once that starts wearing off. It sucks. So, but yeah, but it's a difference between keeping that suck to yourself and telling other people, and you don't want to look like a wiener to anybody, so you just keep it to yourself. So.
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing. Yeah, like how the adrenaline kind of pushes you to do
takes
things
over
like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah. So that was one of the things in your interview that I watched with US Soccer that was amazing. Was that you were taking care of people out of the helicopter and bringing them out, and once you realized that things were in a safe environment, then you just laid down and
you laid down. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. I couldn't move after that. Once it all kind of cooled down, and I couldn't. There was nothing further to be done until help arrived. That's when I started feeling everything, and I wasn't mobile anymore.
Yeah.
Do you think the snow helped you out on that? Just kind of putting your whole body on ice right away? Or
no, it's not like, I think you're like thinking of Captain America, the movie where they froze him and he was able to like live a little longer. It actually sucked. I had summer boots on, and I think I got a minor frostbite to my feet. Like my feet are so sensitive to the cold now. But it's weird because when it went down, I mean, it was snowing. Like we went down in a blizzard, and then they take pictures the next day after the fact. No snow to be found on the ground. It was pretty bizarre, but it sucked. Yeah.
Tyler, did you hear that actual? I mean, I don't want to be like crossing any bounds if you don't want to tell that story, but like it might make sense just in context. Mm-hmm. We're kind of referring to something that maybe people don't have an understanding of that I saw you speak about.
Sure. You just want me to get in detail? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, because we're referring to maybe a helicopter crash, and we're talking about ice, and maybe we don't to put it all together. What happened? If you could.
So early on in my career, this is my second deployment in Afghanistan. Halfway through, I was actually in a helicopter crash. I was in if you guys are familiar with the helicopter, the Chinook. It's looks like the big bus with the two rotor blades flying in the sky. And we were supposed to go on a mission. It was canceled due to weather, so we were headed back home, flying home in a blizzard. And there's 3 helicopters carrying a bunch of guys, and we were all just trying to get back to where we slept at night. And we were the trail helicopter and ended up losing power. Between 300 and 500 feet is where we lost power, and just spun, auto-rotated all the way down and crashed. And kind of this, obviously the sadder side, 8 guys, 8 died, 14 wounded. So there was 22 passengers on board. And yeah, it was snowing, and it was a rough night for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any. Those are the parts, obviously, in Hollywood that they kind of they like to show us clearly, and then everything that happened afterwards. I can imagine your entire comeback, the healing process, and what was going on in your mind. Did you, after things had settled, after you kind of knew, all right, I'm okay, I'm back, what was that like, trying to get back to some sort of form of normalcy?
It's actually quite easy, honestly, and I'm not just saying that to sound cool, but I mean we're cut from a different cloth as far as being in that unit. So I was out for 10 months. I was in a neck brace and a back brace for a while, but I was still running in a neck brace and a back brace, just trying to stay fit. And as soon as actually the day after my back brace came off, I was already at the range shooting again, and it's just. I don't know how to explain it. I was just hungry to come back. I was actually asked to medically retire at that time, and I said, there's no shot. I was too young anyways, and my body was pretty resilient then. Now I'm definitely feeling the pain in my neck and back from years ago, but that's okay. It was super worth it. But as far as just the mentality of just wanting to get back, I mean, when you work so hard to be part of something,
Mhm.
a little glitch like that doesn't slow you down. You know, we're just
Totally.
it's just what's the point of putting all that sweat equity in there and all the
Yeah.
all your you're losing your mind at night trying to stay awake, going through ranger school 60 some days, in the woods, and then just you're private, and when you're in a private in the Army, specifically in the Ranger Regiment, it's a lot harder because you have to earn your right to stay around. I mean, there's just so much involved, and when you make it, you don't want to leave it after you do that, and you're there for a reason, and it could happen to anybody. So, yeah, it was just it was a very easy choice, and it was a lot easier than people, I guess, assumed.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you just say that you spent 60 days in the woods, though? I don't want to skip that.
Yeah, no. There's a thing called. So I was in Ranger Regiment, but there's also a thing called Ranger School in the Army, and it's 64 days. It's like a leadership school, and the majority of it is spent in the woods, where you're just kind of carrying your rucksack, a heavy rucksack, minimal meals, minimal hours of sleep. It's just a long leadership course that's very sought after in the Army. It's a big deal when you earn your Ranger tab. It's what it's called, and that's part of the process for guys in Ranger Regiment. If they want to stay in the unit, they have to pass that course as well.
It definitely wasn't for 60 days, but I remember the Finnish guys always talking about where they'd have to go into the woods for their military service. They're like, oh, gotta go to the woods this month or something.
Right.
Wow.
When you come out of that, can you do anything cool? Like if you just like have like maybe a poor Wednesday, do you ever just think, I'm just going to go ahead and walk into the woods, build a skyscraper, cook up?
Oh no, absolutely.
Like,
I avoid the woods now. I'm not a fan of the woods. I'm not somebody who wants to go camping ever. I'm not somebody who wants to go sweat my balls off or freeze my feet off.
Yeah.
Chill.
Oh, that's awesome.
I enjoy my living room with my AC on and my TV. I'm just, if I'm not deploying and having fun like that,
Yeah.
I'm not just going to go live in the woods just for the heck of it. I'm over that now.
Okay.
Right.